Let's have a look. Okay, we're starting off with the Astrology. I don't know if anyone's here. I find it hard to tell. So I'm just going to carry on with the Astrology, and I need a bit of time, so please bear with me. Okay, all right. key while we're proceeding, so just be patient, please. Okay, thank you. Be patient, please. It's been a long time. What, 5 weeks now since we were here last time? So if I appear a little bit rough or unpolished, then I ask for your forgiveness. I'm just going to finish the Astrodoodle, okay? Hold on. Alright, so I got the basics of an Astrodoodle, and right now, as you know, some of you know, I've been in a little bit of trouble with YouTube, so I'm trying to moderate myself in a different way so I don't get into so much trouble. So I posted a little short on YouTube a little earlier today to let people know that we'll be back. Some people may or may not get the notification, but it's better than nothing. And so we are here. I'm a few minutes late, but it took a long time for me to reset up and recalibrate all the technology, migrating between YouTube and Rumble, and then Rumble and YouTube. It's a real... it's extremely technically challenging for me personally, even though in theory it's very simplistic. Oh, you're driving? Please be careful, Robin. Be careful. So let me just check in with you guys. Oh gosh, we've got a few people here. Wow, okay. Hello. Hello, hello. So... Oh, okay. So, hello Robin. Hello Love Triber. Hello Mr. Ross. Yes, I just saw that come in by email. Thank you so much. You're going to get a mini reading live tonight on TarotLumination. It's been a while, folks. And Necessary Truth. Good to see you all here. If we've got any newbies, I am very happy to have you here. We've been at TarotLumination now, some of us old timers. It's been going on for, let's see, February 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 7 years. It's still here. The channel is still here, even though it's been absolutely crushed and pulverized. It's still here. Time to celebrate. So, in keeping with all the massive retrogrades that are happening right now, and to say farewell and goodbye to the Mercury retrograde that we just had, I'd like to have a very, very quick look backwards in time, just to say, my God, I can't believe we're still here. But it's quite amazing. In fact, the actual demolition happened in November 2018. So that's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 6 years ago, almost to the day, the channel was basically demolition. It was a complete demolition. And it's still just a pile of rubble on the ground. But the bodies are twitching. We're still twitching under the rubble. Thank you very much. Who knows where things will go from here? So, in theory, I would love to give you a list of everything that I'm not going to talk about tonight. Because all the things that I'm not going to talk about are the things that keep getting me with warnings and deletions and strikes and demonetizations, okay? It's in the rear view mirror. Yes, thank you to all the retrogrades. Now, as you know, with retrogrades, typically anything that can go wrong will go wrong, depending on the nature of the planet, the aspect, and where it lies in your chart, okay? I stood right up to the mountain. I chopped it down with the edge of my hand. Yeah. My gosh. So, things are getting so controversial in the world of social media that little tiny TarotLumination is not the only one feeling the sharp edge of the big companies that want to keep people like me quiet. There's the big guy himself, Mr. X, okay? He's being heavily challenged, and then there's his buddy over on the Telegram being heavily challenged. So, what does that tell us? My feeling is we must be doing something right. Speakers of the truth, people who are realizing, my God, that's how and why the First Amendment was written and drafted and enshrined in our Constitution. Because without that, you got nothing. So, I can already tell that I'm getting myself into trouble within the first, 3-4 minutes. So I will shut up. And, oh gosh, I just got a mini attack. It's probably YouTube sending me a warning. Shut the up. So that's what I'm going to do. So really, I'm just going to do a little sort of walk around, a little walkthrough on the Astrodoodle for the evening. And then we'll dive in on mini readings. Now, there's a few folks here. And so you know the routine. If anybody wants a live mini reading, you do the donation page. I'll walk everybody through like we do. Like pretend it's the first time. Okay? So, this is TarotLumination. Here is the website, TarotLumination.com. You can go to it on another tab on your computer or another device, live, right now, real time if you want. And go to the donate page, click the donate button, put in a few dollars, the more the merrier, and then kapoof, lo and behold, you get to have a live mini reading in front of everybody else. It's like walking naked in the middle of the campsite when we're all around the campfire and it's your turn. And then we all look at you and say, oh, don't worry about it. We've all done it before. Nothing new here under the sun. Get over yourself. So that's kind of what that's like, okay? Anyway, we've already got a mini reading booked for Mr. Ross. Thank you, sir. So, in a few moments, the magic post-it note will be revealed. and the name will be on the note. Oh, gosh. All right, let's have a look here. I have to tell you, it's taking everything I have to shut my mouth and not talk about the things that I love to talk about. But I'm doing it. Okay, let's go. So here's the Astrodoodle for today. Cheers, everybody. Right now, I'll just whiz through it like we do. First of all, let's go for the sun. The sun is in Virgo. Thank you very much. That will light up all the Virgo people out there. You should be appreciating that. It's not too heavily conflicted right now, so might as well make the most of it. Later on in the month, we're going to get a major opposition over here. So, sun will be in Virgo, moon will be, where is it? Let me just check. Yeah, it's an eclipse on the 17th, or let's say the 18th, around there. Okay? And so let's, actually, while we're here, let me bring up the subject of that particular eclipse. Why? The reason being that I had a look at the charts earlier. I was fiddling through here, and it is right around the, I believe it's the 18th over here. I haven't really filled out the ephemeris for the month because I've been preoccupied with other things, but right over here on the 18th we have an eclipse. Okay, it's a full moon, so the sun will be in Virgo and the moon will be in Pisces. And I can tell you that it's pretty nasty. Really, in fact, really nasty, in my opinion, as an aspiring, always aspiring, improving, ever improving astrologer. So we've got time to prepare, but all I'm suggesting is that however bad things are right now regarding the subject matters that I'm not allowed to talk about, please understand that it's probably going to get a lot worse. Okay, that's about all I can say on that. Anyway, and you know what happens with eclipses, TarotLumination style. Eclipses are evolutionary gateways. It's kind of like people being shoved into an elevator. The door closes on one side, the elevator moves up, the door opens on the other side, and everybody is shoved out, and there's no going back. Sorry. And it's basically evolve or die. The people who refuse to evolve and adapt and modify, change, improve their behavior, rise up to their observations and experience and integrate the learning experience inside themselves, and on the understanding it's essentially very, very, very Darwinistic. It's evolve or die. Okay? Evolve or die. That is the basic biological prerogative. It doesn't matter whether you're an ant, a caterpillar, a whale, a pine tree, a lion, a giraffe, a butterfly. It doesn't matter. Evolution is what it is. Evolution is brutal. It's also very beautiful because that's how we got to be who we are, where we are today. The best of us and the worst of us. And it's all happening simultaneously. All right, so let's mark it out here. Right now, we have good old Pluto pretty much at the 0-degree mark here, on the cusp between Capricorn and Aquarius. So it's extremely hyper unstable at the very bedrock of the soul of humanity. There's so much I could talk about here, but most of it is in the realm of the worldly stuff that affects all of us at the depths of our soul. Now, if you want to get personal, this point here, 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 all these points exist somewhere in your own chart. Depending on your personal astrology, this is the transit for today. This is the sacred geometry of everything that's out there in the solar system at this very moment in time. It's permanently swirling around and swirling around. And the geomagnetic influences are what they are. And by empirical evidence and thousands of years of observation, astrologers have surmised that we can tell certain stories about what's happening with people on this earth depending on where the planets are and how the story would unfold. Right now we are living, in terms of astrology, we're living through massive historical moments that don't occur except for at least on the 250-year basis. We've already got 175 here, 87 over here, and so on and so on. But this is the big one. Now also, because this is such an extreme alignment here, where we have pretty much everything on the cusp, here, here, and here, this is also very rare astrologically. It's a very, very slow-moving aspect. There's the big fat trine over here, very comfortable between Capricorn, Pluto style energy and Uranus, Taurus type energy. And in the middle we've got Neptune. So this is very, very supportive of itself to itself, but especially to Neptune, which sadly, in my opinion, is adding tremendous fuel and comfort and ability to anybody in the human population who wishes to abuse the beautiful energy of Neptune, Pisces, 12th house type energies. And, you know, who cares about the consequences? Saturn being tested or being held accountable. They don't care. So there's a lot of very, very, very stinky, shady, smelly, fishy stuff going on across the world. Very, very negative stuff, which you've probably heard of and I've talked about before. And it's going to keep going. And by the time it gets to the eclipse, roughly a couple weeks from now, because tomorrow is the Virgo new moon, okay? The sun is going to be here and the moon is going to be right here. 2 weeks from now, the aspects are going to be super hyper stressed in such a way that it's almost like the maximum negativity has the potential to be expressed through people. I'm not sure how you look at the world. What is your lens? What is your perspective? What are your expectations? It helps if you just stay neutral and observe. And once you observe and understand and see what's happening, then you can form your own opinions. Now the thing is, the problem with, I think, what's happening today is that the ability to observe authentically is being heavily obscured by people, a very, very tiny number of people who do not want we, the people, the masses, to observe what's actually happening. So the energy of fraud, deception, lies, betrayal, crime, corruption, perversion, sickness, murder, evil is very, very active right now. I'm not saying that's what it is in your life, but it's happening around the world, okay? Okay, Love Trevor's got a point here. You've got to reveal it to heal it. So all of this is being revealed. whether you are aware, whether you have the ability or the willingness or the intention to observe, and simply observe. And when you observe, you can understand that, wow, yes, you might be terrified. Oh, yes, you might feel like, oh my God, I didn't realize I was being scammed. Oh my God, I didn't realize the world was such a scary place and so many horrible things were happening. Or you may be completely oblivious. You may be thinking like, oh, well, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I got a bunch of credit cards and, oh, I don't know, the sun came up. Everything's good. I'm having a wonderful time. So it depends. So all of these points sit on your chart somewhere. Okay? Somewhere on your chart they're going to trigger. Now these are very extreme trigger points. So the place that I would be looking most in my own personal chart, if I was doing personal readings, I would be looking about where is this happening in your chart? Where is this happening in your chart? You know, regardless of whether you're a Virgo, a Sagittarius, or a Taurus, or whatever, I would be looking to see how that is impacting you and your life. But anyway, couple of things over here. You can see that triangle. It's weakening as a big fat T-square, but it's still a fat T-square. It's not just quite as big, but this is more extreme. This is much more powerful. This is a very, very hostile, dangerous aspect here. Mars in Gemini, pretty much at the degree of crisis, the degrees of desperation, is hard squared to Pisces' degree of desperation. My feeling here with this aspect is that people reach a degree of desperation where the only thing that they know how to do to express themselves is violence, murder, extreme violence, savage, uncontrolled, berserk violence in the form of a sickness, like a disease. People who are unconscious, they're not connected. Their soul has been completely disconnected from divinity, and they feel it as extreme pain, and they have to blame somebody somewhere. So that's what they do. They project their pain outwards and say, you're the problem, you're the problem, you're the problem. I have to stab you to death. I have to stab your friends and your family and your children. I have to kick your face in for whatever reason. And that's what's happening now, and it's going to increase over the next few days, okay? And even as Mars goes into Cancer, it's still going to be an extremely hard square. So please have high degree of situational awareness, because a lot of this violence is happening spontaneously because people are cracking up. People are falling apart across the world. They don't know how to control their energy. They're not in control. They are literally possessed. They have either been possessed or they have willingly, let's say, subscribed to the forces of evil, because it can be very exhilarating and satisfying for those types of people to live that way, because you get immediate relief from any kind of confusion, pain, depression. In other words, I can't handle this problem. I can't handle you. I can't handle this. I can't handle them. I'm just going to kill you. I'm just going to stab you. I'm just going to shoot you. I'm going to hit you. Whatever it is. Victor! Yay! Okay, let's go to money. So, dear Victor, here we go again. Now, I'm just going to add one little thing over here. I guess I've been saving it up because it's happening live right now. At this very moment as we speak, Uranus has just flipped retrograde. Okay, that's right here. Right here. And I mentioned this the other day. I think it was on Rumble or my X or something, okay? So, right now, it just flipped. So we're going to put a big fat R just here. So at this moment in time, we have an absolute storm of retrogrades. Big, heavy retrogrades. Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn. Okay, there it is. I didn't make this stuff up. All this information comes from, places like NASA, because they use this information, the degrees of movements of the planets in the heavens, to calculate their space journeys, okay? Victor, yeah. So let me just connect over here. Okay, here's one thing to remember, Victor. It's almost like a bumper sticker now, the way TarotLumination works. Anything and everything that can go wrong will go wrong under the retrogrades. So you take Uranus, for example. Anything regarding Uranus type energy in that particular sign, in that particular placement, in this particular moment of astrology in Earth history, whatever is not fully integrated or evolved or flowing harmoniously through the solar system, including people, will go wrong. Because during the retrograde, what effectively it translates into in our human experience, it's a chance for anything and everything that can go wrong will go wrong. It gives us a chance to observe, like, oh, that's not working, or that's not working, or that's not working. So just remember. So let's do it like this. So let's remember, like with Mercury retrograde, you're probably familiar. It's like, oh my God, I lost all my emails. Oh my God, I keep dialing the wrong number. Oh my God, all these freaks keep calling me from out of the blue. Oh my God, my servers are down. I can't work my phone. The whole of the city's gone down. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There's telecoms, there's blackouts, there's horrible things are happening. I keep saying the wrong things in the wrong way to the wrong people at the wrong time for the wrong reasons, and they don't understand me. And then when they're talking to me, they say the wrong things at the wrong time for the wrong reasons in the wrong way, and I don't understand them. So it turns into a pile of poop. What do? You have to work your way through it. And instead of taking it personally, you have to embrace it and realize this is a moment. Classic examples would be a week before the retrograde, you'd start to get blinky lights on your car, on your computer, on your phone, like, uh-oh, bad things are starting to happen. Then it goes into the retrograde period. You can start to diagnose exactly what's not working, how, why, when, where, who, what, and so on. And then you have a chance to fix it. So when you come out the other side of the retrograde, you can go, wow, I don't know how I got through that, but I did. And you can carry on with your life. So I'm discussing Mercury, but you can apply the same principles to any of the other planets that go retrograde. So with Uranus going retrograde, for example, Uranus represents the extreme demand for freedom, liberty, just the ability to be who you are, no limitations, the ability for everybody to connect with everybody without any form of hierarchy of need or power or money and control. In other words, like in finance, decentralized finance, where you are your own banker, you are your own custodian. There's no trustees or third-party trust issues involved. If you screw up, it's on you. So the world is not used to operating that way. The world is used to being conditioned. Ever since 1913, the world is being conditioned to believe and trust in an external source of custody for your wealth, your money, your values, your principles, your beliefs, your assets. We're supposed to work hard and deposit everything we have of value that's accountable through currency into a centralized banking system where they supposedly hold on to it and take care of it for you. That's a bank. The people who operate those systems are nefarious, and they have betrayed us, and they're continuing to betray, and they want to advance their betrayal even further than ever before. And so this is an opportunity to see what's going wrong. With Uranus, one of the themes is instability, revolution, spontaneous eruptions of earthy matters, of ideas, of science, knowledge, of information, like spontaneous advancements in technology, for example, like, oh, I just come up with a great idea. I've got this new thing. It's called AI. Oh my God. I just invented that. Kaboom. Or like Einstein. Einstein turned to heaven and basically said, "Dear God, dear angels, please give me the answer to this freaking problem. I can't solve it. I'm the most capable physicist, scientist on earth, but I still can't figure it out." And then he heard the message, E equals mc squared. And Einstein went, huh? Oh my God, of course! Why didn't you tell me earlier? And God says, like, because you couldn't have handled it. Okay? Calm down. You've got it now. Keep going. So, with Uranus, there's a lot of energy to do with science and the awakening and constant breakthroughs to new levels of awareness with science, knowledge, and how to incorporate that in society in such a way that we all benefit. Another thing about the Aquarian energy, which is ruled by Uranus, is decentralization. So if you think of what do they call it? A flock of swallows or flocks of penguins. Typically, there's not much in the way of what we would call leadership. Like in a jungle full of lions, there's obviously the pack leader of the lions. So there's the dominant alpha male, and so on and so on. And sure, they have alpha males with penguins and swallows. But if you observe the behavior of swallows and penguins, they operate like a swarm. There's no particular leader. All they care about is survival and how to benefit each other by sharing their information and knowledge so that they can continue to be free and live the way that they do. So it's completely decentralized, and it's a beautiful thing to observe. People don't have that. Homo sapiens doesn't have that. Homo sapiens has a vicious hierarchical system of people who want to be on top of other people who want to take and rule over other people. They can't help themselves. Wolf packs are similar, you know. Buffalo operate like a swarm because it's much better to operate as a community, as a swarm, rather than have one maniacal leader who leads everybody to slaughter or victory depending on the abilities of the leader. Anyway, also another thing about Uranus is the energy of magic. Poof! How did that happen? Another thing about Aquarius energy is the feeling of hope and fairness and equality. Something that we all love and appreciate and wish for, but sometimes it's very, very hard to have and own and hold. So with Aquarian energy, there's a lot of like humanity, volunteer themes as well. Like somebody's got to do it. somebody, like if there's nothing or no one standing up for freedom, the rights, then someone is going to do it, but typically they're going to do it against the mainstream of some kind of hierarchical monster. And so the theme of freedom, equality, fairness for humanity is a very powerful theme inside Uranus energy. Remember, that rules Aquarius. Somebody has to carry the feeling of hope. Remember, hope is this belief in something that is good and beautiful and wonderful, infused with love, despite no evidence to support that hope. It goes on anyway, and the Aquarians are there to carry that hope forward. So Elon Musk happens to be one of those people. He has Mars in Aquarius. He's a very, very powerful fighter for freedom. You get it? Mars in Aquarius, freedom fighter. Get it? Okay. So anyway, going back to the money thing for Victor, you put Uranus in the second house of Taurus, money, global finance. It has a theme of, we the people, we want liberty, freedom, to be our own people, have our own sovereign wealth, our own sovereign values, our own sovereign money, real money, God's money, constitutional money for ourselves. We work for it, we earn it. We want to be our own custodians. We want to be free to make our own mistakes and make our own decisions so that we can prosper and fail accordingly without having to blame anyone else. So that is absolutely 100% contrary to the global elites over in the 8th house of other people's money, which means, the Fed, the Treasury, Wall Street, BlackRock, Blackstone, all of those guys, the stock market, massive investment and asset management funds, all of that stuff. That's where hundreds of millions of people have deliberately chosen to store all their assets, thinking and believing that that's the safest, best thing we can do, and then one day I will be rewarded for being so kind. I'm sorry. It's a massive freaking scam. It works for people who understand the system. There are certain people I really like who understand it very well. Mark Moss, Gregory Mannarino, George Gammon, Neil McCoy Ward, the economic ninja, Travis. They understand the system. There's lots more people out there who understand it as well. There's the big famous Ray Dalio. However, Ray Dalio has made some major screw-ups and he's losing billions and billions because his belief system only went so far and he did not allow for the Uranian upheavals that are happening right now. So he's hurting. So with Uranus retrograde, with Uranus in Taurus, we've already got a theme of reactionary, revolutionary demand for freedom and salvation and reclaiming our sovereign wealth, our sovereign values, our sovereign beliefs, our sovereign money, not currency, our sovereign money, our constitutional money, gold, silver, food, water, shelter, community. Those are the things of real value. Hand tools, power tools, your car, your shelter for your house, your natural born values, your natural born skills that you can share in the Uranian Aquarian style community. Like if I'm a doctor, I can help you if you've got a problem. But I might need help doing construction because I don't have any skills with installing water heaters. Or you might be very good at math, or you might be very good with agriculture and farming and growing plants. You might be very good with animals. You might be very good at fixing cars. We all need each other in those ways, and it's perfectly possible to exchange value in a decentralized network where we can have true, genuine, pure price discovery real time without the need for that big, fluffy, scary thing that's out there. Okay? So, again, add it up, very, very simple. Uranus in Taurus demands freedom, revolutionary upheaval, separation from the institutionalized system that we have now. Break it all down, tear it all up, start from scratch, build something much better. It's not easy, because the last thing the elites are going to do is let you have their money. So anyway, with Uranus going retrograde, please expect a lot more instability to be exposed in the global financial system. There are going to be more stories about the BRICS system, how to circumvent the United States dollar, how to demolish the United States dollar, how to rebuild the United States dollar, and so on and so on. How does everything get genuine price discovery? Because there's no genuine price discovery anymore. It's all fake. Fake numbers, fake data, fake money. It's all fake. It's a massive scam, and they've been doing it since 1913, and I, for one, am sick of it. I mean, sorry, I'm going to get in trouble. I better not. I got to shut up now. Anyway, with Uranus going retrograde on a global scale, that's what's going to happen. More chaos, more revolution, more upheaval, more demand for freedom, and anything and everything that can go wrong will go wrong, which will help those of us who want freedom to discover what are the obstacles to our freedom. What is it that is not working in our present paradigm that we can diagnose, that has to be revealed so that we can heal it, so that we can advance and evolve in leaps to reclaim our sovereignty and our freedom. So this is a golden opportunity for those kind of events. Now, for other people who are deeply vested in the system, things could get very ugly. Okay? We already know China is in very deep trouble. The deeper the trouble, the more belligerent and violent they will become. Okay, so you have to be very, very careful. It's the same for a bunch of other countries around the world. So that's Uranus retrograde. Neptune retrograde, we already know. It's happening on the global political stage. Diseases, we know all of that. With Pluto retrograde, it's all about power and money and control, and the elites of the elites of the elites at the very, very top of the global pyramid of power in a state of absolute desperation. So you put all this stuff together, it's pretty scary. Pretty scary. This is monumental stuff, historical stuff astrologically. So I just wanted to share that. Let me go over here for a minute. I need to recalibrate just briefly. Okie dokie. So all of this is going to move along. We're going to watch all of this, but during the week I'm probably going to be switching over to Rumble. So it's TarotLumination over on Rumble, and we'll hopefully do live streams, and we can talk about the stuff that I can't talk about here. Okay? Actually, you know what? I should put another circle around here. This is all very, very challenging stuff. Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, all retrograde. So all of that stuff, whatever can go wrong will go wrong, happening simultaneously. So it's very, very disturbing, very unsettling, especially for those at the very, very pinnacles of power and money and control. They're going to do everything they can, including the maximum amount of perversion and crime, deception, betrayal, to keep their power. And they're going to do everything to try to destroy anybody who has any revolutionary tendencies, especially when it comes to finance, because they don't want to give up this stuff here. OPM, other people's money. That's the world of the Federal Reserve banking system over here. But we're not going to talk about that tonight. All right, let me just do something. I've got to do a tiny bit of homework here while we set up, because we're going to do a mini reading. Let's have a look. Hold on, give me a second here. James Helen, how much for a reading? As much as you can afford! Throw it in, the more the merrier. So James, I haven't seen you for a while, but let me just do you a reminder over here. There's the TarotLumination website. You can do that on another tab on your computer or phone or tablet or something. Go to TarotLumination.com, find the donate page, click the donate button. The processor comes up. It's just like shopping on Amazon. You can scroll down and select pay by card, fill it all out, click send, and you're good to go. Some people use PayPal directly. It's up to you, because I use PayPal, but you don't have to. I'll just explain it. So yeah, that's how that works. Let me see here. My God, I've been forgetting how to do all this stuff. Yeah. Yes, James, yes, you're on board. I've already filled out your magic post-it note, so you are good to go. We are, let's have a look. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to get set up for the readings now. Excuse me, we'll start again. Oh God, I'm so nervous. Oh my God. I'm so freaking nervous. I can't. I know I shouldn't be. I mean, I've done thousands of readings. Oh, boy. Okay, I gotta shuffle up. Okay, shuffling up here. Okay. Thanks, James. All right. So, James, it's TL, your buddy over here in sunny Las Vegas. Thank you for hanging out with us. In case anybody doesn't know, James is a very advanced alternative healer. Multi-certified, multi-faceted, and that happens on this channel. There are periods of times where remember the years ago, like pre-crash, before the big crash, like we would have a couple of thousand views. We would have 50, 100 people in the live streams, and half of them would be tarot readers, massage therapists, psychics, psychic mediums, alternatives, Reiki masters, yogis, all of that stuff. Anyway, right now it's just us and our own little boutique artisanal crowd. So just imagine, it's like fine wine, okay? I'm going to tell a little story because I'm still very nervous, but we're going to get to your reading, okay, Gregory? So many years ago, I used to work for years in the wine industry. I've forgotten a lot about it, and I learned about it, and I became an alcoholic, and I don't touch it anymore. It's long, long ago. But one of the things I really, really enjoyed were small batch, artisanal, boutique wines from very exclusive vineyards in very small, remote, exclusive little locations. Like, for example, the guy I worked for, it was just him and me back in the day. But many years later, he sold out for many millions of dollars to one of the world's biggest distributor. And I was long gone by then, but I enjoyed the ride upwards, helping him to get there. And every now and again, he would get hold of one of these very, very special bottles. These are bottles that would come from a vineyard where they would only have maybe 24 cases of wine, 12 bottles in a case. and it would be wine that was made by one of the vintners who actually lived on the estate, and as part of his compensation he would be awarded a small section of the vineyard where he would be allowed to groom his own vines and grapes to extremely high standards, and he could use the facilities to ferment his own wines, bottle his own wines, label his own wines, and the vineyard would bring them in under the distribution arm and wing of the vineyard itself to bring them to market. And some of these bottles would sell for hundreds of dollars. And you cherish them, and you pop them open and you pour them out, and you kind of go, you do your wine snob type stuff. Oh my God. Exquisite perfume of kiwi, gentle aroma of cinnamon, mixed with pomegranate. Oh, exquisite. So that's what we do here. Okay. We do the same thing here. Think of me as a tiny little artisanal tarot astrology craft boutique place, and only the most exquisite, elite, discerning people hang out here. That would be you. Okay? Oh boy. So we do it all here. Okay. Oh, Victor, I'm a multiple style energy. Wow, cool. And retired stock investor. Now, that's so cool. That's so cool. Welcome, Victor. You're one of us. You can't escape now. Oh. Anyway, all right, come on, let's do this. Come on. Gregory, you're up. And then we've got a reading for James, and that'll be it for tonight. Thank you very much. I'm very, very grateful. We're proving that we can do this. Cards are very well shuffled. Let's bless this deck. Bless every single card. Bless the channel. Bless YouTube. Bless the platform. Bless the censors who, filter me out and refine me and purify me. Let's bless the cameras and all the lights and the technology and the computers and the monitors, the microphones, the cables, the internet, all of that stuff. So that allows us to do this thing here. Of course, you know the routine. Gregory's knows all about it. Surround yourself with your invisible friends. Invite the healing power of love to fill your body, mind, heart, and soul from above. Believe and trust that you are now saturated. Take a deep breath and then go for it. All right. A lot of you know Gregory. We've been here a long time. Hey, by the way, anybody heard from Tina? Tina Miller. Miss her. But again, she's really hasn't had a chance to hang out for at least a month. 6 weeks or so. But anyway, so Gregory, you've had your ups and downs, extremes at times. Let's do a completely wild, open mini reading. Remember, with my TarotLumination deck here, like we haven't done this in weeks, think of this as a diagnostic tool. It's a very, very super ultra simple spread. I designed all my spreads myself after many years of doing traditional spreads, and I had to abandon that and go custom. So anyway, we're going to do a blind reading here, and we ask for what kind of messages do we have here for Gregory tonight in order that he can advance, evolve, grow, adapt, be happy, heal. I don't do any reversals. I don't do jumpers and flyers and all of that. We're not doing any emails and any what are they called? Oracle things. All right, here we go. So here's the situation. Okay, here's another. Before, in case there's other people here who are just watching, think of this as a diagnostic tool. You just go up to your car specialist place, and they have like free diagnostics. You open the front door of your car and you tell them, I got some blinky lights on the dashboard, I'm really scared. They plug in the black box. The black box starts blinking and they tell you, oh, it's your mass air sensor. We got to fix it. Oh, okay. So that's all we're doing here. This is a diagnostic tool. So here's the situation. Here are the challenges. Here are how we're going to handle things. And let's have a look at the external influences, which I usually default to the planets. Let's have a look. How does that read here? We have the 8 of Wands. So to me, this is kind of exhilarating. I know, Gregory, you sent me some notes recently that you've had an extremely bumpy time, probably very painful emotionally as well. On the other hand, with the recent shift in the planets, I'm thinking specifically about Mars. I don't know about you, Gregory, but I've had it from several sources tonight that I am not the only one feeling like hyper energized or kind of queasy and a little bit disoriented. And I blame it totally on the planets here. Mars squared Uranus. Sorry, Mars square Neptune. Could be very disorienting, but there's a positive side to it in that it could be very stimulating to, let's say, take advantage of the stimulation of Mars and have some fun. Do something physically exciting, rewarding, satisfying in your life with your friends, your loved ones, your pets, your cuddle buddies, all of those things that make you happy and give you a sense of life, and your blood is pumping, your body is, it's there. Oh my God, look at that. It's working. In other words, take advantage of the planets the way they are right now instead of being a victim. Okay, this is an open reading, yes. So I've already started, Gregory. Now let's have a look at the situation itself. Okay, this is no surprise at all. This is the 10 of Wands. This correlates very strongly with what you've been sharing with me recently. And you probably understand this and know this already. This is something that you partly have brought on yourself, and you're starting to realize, my God, I have loaded myself up for years, for decades, with almost untenable, unsolvable problems, especially of other people's situations, that are, and perhaps have been, and even continue to be right now, to the point where they are overwhelming, almost crippling. Now, you are not debilitated here. It's just the realizing that, my God, this could be to do with the Saturn and Pisces type energy, especially if there's Saturn return type energy or anything remotely close to that within a year or so. And the realization, like, wow, I brought this on myself. This is me carrying all my burdens. My burdens are mine, and I don't have anyone else to blame. So how am I going to deal with this? Oh my God, what are the challenges here? There are severe challenges, of course, because it's a honestly, it's a very common thing that people do. People overload themselves with stress and burdens out of feelings of obligation, responsibility, and I gotta do this, I gotta have that, I gotta be here, gotta be successful, and I don't know how to do it. I have my own skills, my own abilities, my own natural drive. And for you, Gregory, we already know, everybody knows it on this channel, that you are kind of a like almost like a volunteer lawman. Like one of those Clint Eastwood movies where someone's got to do it. There's no prize, there's no reward, there's no victory, but someone has got to come in and help the little people. Okay? Some of those Clint Eastwood movies are very, very powerful on that theme. I think one of them is Unforgiven. Anyway, if you want to cheer yourself up, think of yourself as Clint Eastwood, and you reach a point where you know you've maxed out, but that's that point in the movie where you know you're still going to prevail because you're still walking. All right? So, yeah, let's have a look. What are the challenges here? Okay. More wands. Look at that. The Six of Wands. Victory. Winning. Achievement. So to me, it makes me feel it's just like every time I get closer and closer and closer to having a win, to having a really big win, something turns to SHIT and oh man, I'm back where I was. It's again, think of the retrogrades. Anything and everything that can go wrong will go wrong. And therein lies the chance for healing and learning. It might be a very painful chapter, but when you associate it with the challenges, like deep down, Gregory Ross, what you want to do, I just want to feel like a winner. I just want to feel like I've achieved something. I just want to feel like I'm appreciated and valued and rewarded and understood and loved accordingly, because I have sacrificed huge chunks of my life for others, and I deserve it. I deserve a win. I deserve to be considered and perceived as a winner. Damn it. Okay, so let's have a look. How are we going to proceed from here? Okay. Wow. So we got the Magician. All right. So Gregory, you're already a very spiritual person. Everybody here knows that. You sometimes do your own readings on yourself, and you operate at the highest frequencies of the beautiful side of Neptune. Okay? We all know that here. You're just one of those types. On the other hand, with Neptune energy, it's very common, very normal for Neptunian types to experience extreme pain and suffering and injustice for no apparent reason. Or if there is an apparent reason, then it would translate and feel like extreme suffering and pain that you don't deserve. But since you're aware of that, you're at the spiritual level of evolution where you're aware of that, you understand the storyline that we're talking about here, you understand that it still all comes back to you in the end. You're the only person living your life. You can't outsource your life and project all whatever pain, misery, and suffering that you're dealing with onto other people, because you already know that's not going to work. It's going to backfire. It's not fair. And so you have to take full ownership. And that puts you in a position of like, holy geez, what the hell am I going to do now? And then you realize, you take a few deep breaths and you realize, actually, I can do whatever the bleep I want. What does that look like? What I'm feeling here, Gregory, with this thing, it's like a moment of like kerblam, like lightning type awakening here with Uranus and the Mars type energy, where it makes me feel like this is a moment of awakening right now, where the full understanding is not going to be really clear until we reach the eclipse. We're at a very, very soft, very mellow, gentle point right now as the moon has reached its moment of like peace and serenity before it climbs back up into a new moon starting tomorrow. And so by the end of this week, there will be a lot more clarity and understanding about what this reading means for you. And as you go into the week after, and then up to, in other words, 2 weeks from now, things will be crystal clear for you, and you'll have a much clearer idea of how am I going to express my power so that I can reclaim some of the power in my life that I've either unwittingly given away, or that's been stolen, or been lost. And so I can reconfigure, reclaim, realign, so I can kind of get back to my best, most awesome, fun, loving self again. Because you are a very fun, loving person. You like to be happy. And you deserve to be happy. You deserve to feel like you're going to win and be successful. But again, definitions. What's that going to look like down the road? Because all of us are going through massive evolutionary convulsions right now. You too, me too. All right? So, yes, Love Triber, that's a good way to put it. Take back your personal power. How are you going to express that power? Let's not get into that right now. Allow this to ferment over the next few weeks. Like, this is like a seed that's germinating right now, tonight. You're getting a glimpse. And the seed is planted. It's already there inside you. It exists. You have the power and the choice and the responsibility to be you. And that will make itself more clear and apparent and more defined and understandable as time goes on. You realize, okay, I could focus more on my energy. How am I going to express all my energy and talents and gifts through my Mars energy? Or maybe I should focus on emotional satisfaction. Or maybe I should focus on intellectual advancements, looking at through the mind. How am I going to advance? Or maybe looking through the pentacles, like maybe I'm going to focus on like very solid, simple things like, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this with my time, my money, and my energy in order to reclaim my life, reclaim my personal power. But this is not defined right now. My feeling is that the magician energy is there, but it's like a little seed, and it's going to sprout and grow, and it's going to be fully apparent in about 2 weeks from now. Okay? I guess, so in other words, for the next 2 weeks, be your own best observer. Allow yourself to, hold on, okay, your reading's basically done. But what I want to do is kind of get a feel for it. Like, allow yourself to go, okay, TL, I kind of understand you there. I sort of see what you're talking about. Oh, but what does he really mean? So, what I'm sensing is like, don't worry about it. Sleep on it. You've listened to the reading, or you can listen to it again later if you're not here right now. Let the words sort of and the vibes sink in, and allow the understanding and the interpretation to just ferment inside of you while you're living your life. And while you're living your life over the next 2 weeks, try to be as neutral and observant as possible. Like, remove all expectations, everything. Like, if you have expectations out of a certain person or a situation or an event or yourself, put it all aside and give yourself permission to, like, free float, go, just to be free. Like, wake up in the morning like, oh man, I feel like shit. I'm just going to sleep for another hour. Oh, I feel better now. Now I'm going to get up. Now I'm going to do something. What do I really want to do now? I haven't really had a proper cup of coffee for a long time. I'm going to go out and get one. Or I haven't done this or that for a while. I'm just going to do that. And in the process, I'm going to walk out a door. I'm going to look at the air. What does that look like? What does it feel like? I'm going to look at my furry friends. I'm going to observe. I'm just going to be like neutral. I'm going to allow myself to float like you're a fish in an aquarium. And everything is there around you. There's no perimeter. It's a glass aquarium. It goes on to infinity. Just observe. All you have to do is observe and allow the energy to come into you and allow the understanding to come into you from the outside. by invitation. Please, dear heaven, angels, guardians, invisible friends, please bring to me that which is mine. Please take away from me that which is not mine. That's it. And then just move forward through the day. Oh, I'm hungry, I need to eat something. Oh, you know what? I'm supposed to do some very important business thing. Then go do that. And then move on. Just do. Okay? So, let's wrap that up. That's your reading. I hope you get something out of it. We have to move on. All right, we're going to shuffle up here. Give me a second, folks. Okay. Excuse me, sorry. Okay, James, I see your notes. They are here in the chat. Okay, let's have a look. So, I'll just translate it, what I'm seeing here in the notes. Basically, the way I would translate it is, what kind of messages do we have for James here tonight regarding himself and Patty? As he states, Patty's a Cancer, James is a Gemini. Just a little note here on the astrology for a moment. Where am I? So, in really simplistic terms, Gemini is next door to Cancer, okay, in the astrology charts. So that's a sort of, I think they call it an inconjunct. They're quite different energies, okay? For example, actually, let me go to the chart for a minute. It might help if I do it this way. Just as an illustration, James. Okay, I'm just doing illustration here. I'm not doing astrology according to the chart itself. I'm just looking at the signs here. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, and so on. So, for example, fire signs. Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. They are very harmonious together. Air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, very harmonious together. Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, very harmonious together. Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, very harmonious together. We have other aspects like the opposition, Taurus, Scorpio. Or we have the trine, very harmonious, Scorpio, Pisces. Or we can have a sextile, which would be Scorpio, Capricorn, for example. Or, let's say, Virgo, Cancer, and so on. Then we have the opposition. It's a very powerful aspect. And then we have the conjunction. Let's say it would be Aquarius conjoined Aquarius, like a sun and a moon, like a new moon baby, you know? If you're born with sun and moon in Aquarius, a new moon baby, that's a very powerful conjunction. Now, when you have a planet next to itself, there's no obvious connection. However, in my personal life experience, I have to tell you, some of my most fun, exciting, rewarding experiences have been with an inconjunct, where my buddy was one sign different from me, and in one direction or another. Like say I was Pisces, it would be an Aquarius or an Aries, or Virgo, it would be a Leo or a Libra, and so on. Also, the inconjunct. Here's another version of inconjunct. Cancer would be inconjunct with Sagittarius, or inconjunct with Aquarius. And those things happen. Typically, they are quirky type relationships, and they can be a very stimulation for learning and evolving and growing, because they are quite different. But that's where the value lies. The difference is the differences. But also they're very close, remember. So right now you're telling us you're a Gemini and she's a Cancer. So that's a kind of an inconjunct. But I'm telling you, that's not a problem. It doesn't have to be a problem. You have a theory of water and air signs and fire and earth signs being good relationships because they are like yin and yang. Well, that's another part of it. Typically, water and earth go well together. Air and fire go well together. Air and earth. Well, I'm getting all confused now. But anyway, yeah, there are traditional things which tend to be more harmonious or less harmonious. I remember in the Beatles, for example, in the Beatles, we're going back, way back in time. The Beatles were born from the Pluto and Leo generation, so they were born with a ferocious right, obligation, duty, soul journey to express themselves as courageously and powerfully and joyfully as possible. They became probably the biggest music phenomenon in history. Pop music, that is. There's John Lennon, a Libra. There's Paul McCartney, a Gemini. Very, very easy harmony together. Lennon-McCartney. Then weird inconjuncts with George Harrison and Ringo Starr, a Pisces and a Cancer. George Harrison and Ringo Starr, very harmonious together. But then you put them all in a big blob, you get these weird combos. But it's the weirdness that added to the magic of the Beatles, okay? Anyway, I'm just saying. So, yeah. I know we did a big in-depth personal reading some time ago, James, and it was a very complex reading. I do believe I've got the note. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that right now because that would be a huge pile of work. But anyway, that's not going to affect the tarot. The tarot is what it is. I'm just going into the background because you mentioned your sun signs. So, inside a person's personal astrology, there are many, many other things going on beside your sun sign. There's Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And they all combine to create the individual profile and identity that you have as James Helen. Same with Patty. And deep inside the chart, there will be all sorts of things that combine and mix in such a way that would in the way I do astrology, I could easily find a way to explain the combination of James and Patty and the hows and whys of why they would be together, even though the sun signs traditionally would be called in conjunct. Like, in other words, huh? What are these two doing together? Huh? Okay. So anyway, let's have a look. Cards are nicely shuffled. And let's dive in. What kind of messages do we have for James tonight regarding himself and Patty? All right, let's have a look. No expectations here. Whatever comes out is what comes out. Okay. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. And let us have a look at the external energies. Of course, I'm defaulting to the planets. I just can't help myself. We have the Queen of Cups. Wow. Okay. Well, okay, I'm going to give you my immediate, spontaneous impression here. It feels to me that the Queen of Cups energy is partly resonating with Patty, but it has a reciprocal resonance with yourself, where you kind of feed off of each other, where her energy as the person that she is, in its purest, boldest, most simple term, would be Queen of Cups type of energy. In other words, someone who is well evolved, exactly at a parallel level of evolution to yourself, James, because you're already highly evolved in your own way. You're an advanced multidimensional healer. So, and as far as I recall, Patty is as well. So she's operating at really high frequencies, where she is conducting herself as the Queen of Cups in her life, in her world. And always the question every day, day in, day out, is how best am I to dispense the healing power of love now, in the moment, in the now, looking around me, like my life, my world. And then she would just go off and do that and be that. Now, simultaneously, my feeling is that this part of her triggers the same thing inside of you. Even though you're a guy, this is very powerful female energy. It triggers something in you which is like, oh, okay, so what am I supposed to do today? How am I supposed to express my highest abilities to be loving, let's say, in the form of healing, in the life and the world around me at this moment in time right now? Because that cup is full of assets. It's absolutely loaded with extremely valuable assets of love, the healing power of love. And so every day, what am I going to do with that? How am I going to dispense that? Here, there. Oh, somebody needs that. Somebody needs that. I need to take care of myself. I need to take care of a bit of Patty. Patty is just taking care of little bits and pieces of me. So I think it looks to me like it's what do they call it? A positive feedback loop, where this is actually inside of her, but you are kind of in an orbit where you benefit accordingly by being in her orbit. And then that, if she was doing a reading, there would probably be a reciprocal type reading for yourself, where she would benefit accordingly from you. So I see this as a mutually beneficial type of situation. The situation itself looks like 6 of Cups here. So it looks pretty obvious that you've done this before. You've been together before in past lives, perhaps multiple past lives. Things might have been very rough at some times. You might have gone back for centuries and centuries and centuries as, crippled peasants way up in, what would now be Norway, or maybe South Africa, or maybe the Great Plains of America, or Central Europe, or somewhere. and you would have had perhaps a very primitive subsistence level existence. But it didn't matter because love was flowing in the veins. And as time goes on and you recycle through thousands of past lives, every now and again you meet up again and you continue from where you left off. And you get to a point in more modern times where it's like you've shared a household together. You've been there with each other, for each other together, through the worst of times and the best of times. And the core ingredient was, again, love. Okay? Very straightforward. And here we are in this lifetime now with like an evolutionary leap forward where we're taking the story, let's just call this a never-ending story, and you just happen to be in this particular lifetime, in this astrological piece of history, where she's there in physical form, you're there in physical form, you happen to be a Cancer, she happens to be she's a Cancer, you're a Gemini, and fine, that's great. But it's okay, so what are we going to do now? You're there, she's there. You've been here together before. You're here now. What does that look like? Well, it looks to me like the element, the component of love is still there, like no matter what. But how does that look in the details? Because like as we live through life, we're going through multiple lifetimes, we kind of take everything, all the good stuff for granted, and we start to work on the rough edges. I hope that makes sense. In other words, like even though you had this foundation and background of love, and it's like in a positive feedback loop all the time, being together in this lifetime is sort of like having the opportunity to enjoy the foundation of loving and being loved, and being aware that she is there and you are there. Excuse me. Oh, God. And so how to make the most of things in this lifetime? Well, that might appear fractious. It might feel challenging because in this lifetime, in order to evolve and grow and take full advantage of what you already have, where you were born into this lifetime, you would feel it as though you're working on the rough edges. In other words, there might be many situations where her energy might trigger some of your rough edges that have not really been yet fully evolved or polished or refined. And the same thing, reciprocal with her, where every now and again you might clash in such a way where she feels like you've triggered her rough edges, like, just, why do you keep bothering me with that thing or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so it might feel as though there's friction, where you're triggering and stepping on toes and triggering friction and discomfort in the rough edges on her, and vice versa to you. So it's reciprocal. But the invisible gift here is that this is the environment, the soil, the place where your own personal evolution can occur. Because it's like when a farmer, prepares the soil. They stir it up, they shake it up, they refine it, they purify it, figure out how to improve it. And it's work. It's hard work. Sometimes it hurts. And you're doing that with her, and she's doing that with you. So you don't want to always focus on what's not working, because you've got so much that does work and that's good already. All right, let me go back. Okay, so what are the challenges here? Let's have a look. Okay, so with the moon card, my feeling here is that in this particular lifetime, because both of you are operating at what I would call, very high frequencies, because of being healers and all of that, where in the personal sense, you might both be hypersensitive to each other's energy, where just the slightest like discomfort could be proportionally felt as something much bigger and much worse than it is. And then how do you deal with that? And it's like two very sensitive people being together, like, oh, I wish you hadn't said that. Oh, I wish you hadn't done that. Oh, like, okay. But it's actually very, very beneficial for you. And so with the moon card, it makes me feel like you already know what I'm talking about. She already knows what we're talking about here. And it's just that every time one of those periods of discomfort occurs, it's like this feeling like, I wish I didn't have to go through this all the time. And with the moon card here, it's like the realization that, damn it, the only way out is through. So you have to go through this because, for example, look at it this way. If you remove yourself from her, or she removes herself from you because you can't or don't want to deal with the discomfort that comes with evolution, because evolution always comes with something uncomfortable that forces the individual to have to evolve. You evolve or die. So, or I'll be less blunt, evolve or stagnate. So with the moon card here, effectively it's just like, damn it, I know what you're talking about, TL. It's just the only way out is through. But every time I get to the next step, the next trigger moment, I wish I didn't have to go through this. Why can't it be sweet and harmony all the time? Because we've got all this already. Well, the whole point about being here now in physical form in this lifetime is to evolve. That's why we're here. And so it's like there's no escape from this. Damn it. So how do you proceed? Let's have a look. Okay, the way I feel here with the Pentacles energy, it's a very physical process. You would feel it in your physical life, your physical world, in terms of creating harmony and balance between yourself and her, and between her and yourself. It might be to do with the energy of the moment. There's the 6 Pentacles. Pentacles represent energy, value, sometimes money, and so on. And so, since in the physical form, I'm not talking about spirit here, but this is all very the spiritual stuff, but in the physical form of this life in this world, any episodes of discomfort, even the slightest discomfort, is going to have something of value built into it that needs to be understood and recognized and appreciated as like, oh wow, now I understand the value and meaning and purpose of what we just experienced. How did that work for you, honey? Oh well, I'm not sure, because I know we did something happen the other day, and we didn't really reciprocate the way we normally do. So I'd like to balance things out with you. In other words, if there was some mutual grievance, in other words, you get to a point where, you know, okay, let's stop. Hold on a minute. Okay, let's pretend. Okay, pretend we're doing couples counseling. Okay, we have to do a bit of acting here, where both parties call each other out and say, you know what? We have to talk about this. I'm sorry, but there's something that's been bugging me for a while now. And then you come in and say, well, you know what, Patty, because I have to tell you, something's been bugging me too. And then you say, well, okay, well, this is the moment. Let's sort it out. So lay it out. What's been bugging you? What's been the problem? Tell me the material, factual matters. Is it because I'm not doing good bookkeeping? Am I, leeching too much energy out of you and not reciprocating? What is it? Please explain in your best language possible what I'm doing wrong. Because I don't want that to happen, but we're at this point where we have to sort this out. We have to bring harmony and balance back into how we appreciate and value each other so we can continue into the good stuff. So it's on the understanding that as the relationship moves through time, anything that's slightly out of whack is going to build up and build up, either on your side or her side, to the point where there's an imbalance. And you either put up with it or you don't. But typically it would reach a point of equanimity where it's just like, okay, something's not working here, darling. And that's either you saying it to her or her saying it to you, and you call each other out. Okay, time out. There's something out of whack. I'm not sure what it is. I feel like you're not doing enough, or I feel like I'm not doing enough, and someone's taking advantage of whatever it is, whatever the issue is. It's brought up to a point where you have to call it out and deal with it in very factual, earthy matters. In other words, let's sit down, let's go out for a walk, let's talk about it, let's stop whatever you're doing right now. I'll stop whatever I'm doing, and we're going to focus on what's not working, because we got this and this and that. All of that's working fine, but with all these retrogrades that are happening right now, my dear, we might as well take advantage of the moment and be honest and evaluate what is not working. And it might be the most microscopic details, but that can happen. Like in a car, in a human being, in an animal, in a plant, there can be little tiny things that are wrong that cause a lot of friction and a lot of problems. And sometimes it's very hard to discern what it is, where it is. Like, for example, I just did a lot of refurbishing on a cheap $5 thrift store vacuum cleaner. Somebody threw it away because they thought it was a piece of crap. I did a complete remodel restoration, and it's better than new. Okay? It's a really good vacuum cleaner. And like a lot of these machines, there's a particular tiny thing somewhere that will break when it's too stressed. And then nothing else will work. So it's like that expression. You're only as strong as the weakest link in the chain. So for you, James and Patty, if you are, let's say, an entity, and you have a lot of strength, values, and workability and so on, every now and again, things rise up to the point where you basically take advantage of the most and the best of it that you both have and share with each other until, oops, ouch. Was that your fault or was that my fault? Then you have to find out, where was that problem? What was that weak link in the chain that translated into a fracture or a discomfort or a bit of pain or suffering on one side or the other? Either you with Patty or with Patty with you. And then once you find out what that is, you fix it and then you move on. Like I did with the vacuum cleaner. Oh, it was just that little tiny bolt right in there. That's all it was. That's all it was. The rest of it was just a massive overhaul to get rid of everything else that wasn't working. But the real problem was at the very core with one tiny little component. Bam. Fixed. Okay, so that's your reading. I hope that makes sense for you, James. I hope you get something out of it. It's a pleasure to read for you. I'm going to wrap this up. And give me a second here. I got to do some proper wrapping up. Let me just double check a couple of things. I'm just doing stuff behind the scenes. Okay, so this is the Astrodoodle for today. I think I did a fairly good job of incorporating it into the readings, and I didn't get anybody into trouble, especially myself. I think we're going to be okay. I don't think this video will be blocked or shut down or anything like that. So we're going to wrap it up here very quickly. I want to say good night and thank you to everybody for hanging out with me. I love doing this. I think this format works because I know people like having tarot readings, but you also know that I like to rant about the world and everything. So, okay, so during this week, I hope to be sharing more, and we're going to do it on Rumble. Okay, so you can go to Rumble and go to TarotLumination. Go to search for TarotLumination on Rumble. And I have a channel there. And you can see some videos there. And I'm still learning a lot about Rumble. The navigation is very tricky for me, but I'm learning. And we will hopefully have a fun time. And we'll go for it from there. Thank you for your kind, generous donations. Thank you for everybody else for being here. And we'll see you again. I'm going to wrap up now. And, oh, yeah. So I'll see you next Sunday, okay? Same deal, same process. Tarot readings, donation by PayPal.